Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Friday, 5/21/2021. What a great day. Did you know it's actually kind of weird because it's later on tonight on the 21st hour. It'll be 21/21/21/21/21. It's the first time ever in like the history of the world that's ever happened. It was 21/21/21 all the way through. Super cool. But my name is Ryan Treasure. I'm the VP of Broadcast Operations here at Voice America. I'm going to welcome all of you to our live stream. Voice America Behind the Microphone, our spring extravaganza. We got some great hosts lined up for y'all today. We got some special guests as well. I'm going to bring on our first special guest, co-host of Behind the Microphone, my partner in crime, Sandra Rogers. What's up?
Ryan Treasure, what is happening with you? How are you doing? Happy Friday. Happy May 21st, right?
Friday.
My daughter. Good to see you.
Yeah,
good to see you here in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You know, we're enjoying some warm weather, windy weather, warm weather, but it's excellent nonetheless, and great to be alive. And I'm excited about today's show.
Unless you have allergies, then the wind is just
the allergies. Yes, the allergies are brutal right now, but you know, it's sunny and it's bright and warm here.
You know what? And I talked to somebody who lives on the East Coast, and they got snow.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's the whole thing. The weather's weird.
All right. I'll send you guys some salt and some.
And look at the tornadoes that are other parts of the world as well. The tornadoes and you know, catastrophes that are happening.
Yeah,
so we're lucky.
India just got blasted with a cyclone. There's like freaking like 12 inches of water all the way up to like India's the Taj Mahal, all the way to the Taj Mahal. They have 12 inches of standing water. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, some freaky stuff's happening though. But I'm happy to be with you, and I know we have some exciting guests coming up on today's show.
Yeah, you know, we have a very important special guest on the side of our guests that are going to be on talking about their performances, their shows.
Surprise appearance.
We got surprise appearance by none other than Mr. Jeff Spinard, CEO and president and co-founder of Voice America. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Right. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, we're
surprise appearance from the CEO.
I know you feel all special, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm blushing.
Yeah.
No, I can't tell.
I'm trying to get centered here. My chair is slightly up, but I feel nice and centered between two wonderful individuals here. So good to see you. Good to see you. I'm glad you're with us.
Why, thank you. And it's good to be here.
You're wearing your superhero t-shirt, dude.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes.
Mr. Incredible himself right there.
Absolutely. That was a running joke for many years. Mr. Incredible.
Right underneath this shirt, I am wearing this shirt.
Amplified.
Tim Roshan, which is one of our other hosts on the Influencers channel, along with another host that we're going to be bringing on today, who is also on the Influencers channel. Great guy. Yeah. When I say great guy, I don't mean just great guy. He is absolutely awesome. He's not just a client, a customer, a radio show host, also a great friend, always there to, you know, chit chat with if you need something or have questions about the status of the world or, you know, any of that kind of stuff. And then our first guest that we're going to be bringing on today, she has been in the media and marketing and, you know, that whole area for so long. She used to work at Paramount Pictures. I think she still works at Paramount. I just don't know the status of like, you know, making movies nowadays with, you know, the pandemic and all that stuff. So I don't know if she's still making movies, but if she is, that's great. And we appreciate that. And we'll
get the inside scoop.
Yeah, we got the inside scoop. Summer Helene, who's the host of Behind the Scenes. Behind the Scenes. You want to make it big in Hollywood? Join celebrities, legends, and insiders with Hollywood executive and former Victoria's Secret model Summer Helene and get the royal tour as the Duchess of Hollywood takes you behind the scenes and gives you an insider's guide to the entertainment world. Get the scoop and all the dirt when you listen on location with Summer Helene as she takes you past the glitz and the glamour. And she absolutely does, because Hollywood's not all glitz and glamour. There's always some other crazy stuff going on, right, Summer?
Oh my God, it's horrible. I mean, I love my job. I love my job. If I say that enough, maybe I'll mean it. See, when you talk about the CEO and founder coming on, you guys are like, that's great. I see Jeff. I'm like, that's great. When Brett or one of the heads come on from Paramount, I'm like, we're getting audited. very different experience.
Wow. How are you, Summer?
Really
good to see you.
Great to see you guys. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, we're excited to have you on. You are doing some wonderful things, and this is a behind the mic for us, and it's an opportunity for us as a network to meet and speak with some of our hosts that are hosting with us, and give you an opportunity to share your experiences to your with the audience here, and just let us know your why for doing the shows, and how you're doing with your program, and what's happened since you've been with us, and all of those good things. So we're happy to have you on board.
Well, I can tell you the why.
Yes.
I'm the youngest executive in Hollywood, and I'm the third woman ever to do my job. When I was working for with BT, I got chewed out because I was told it was too dark behind the camera. We don't mind the direct quote. We don't mind the black folk being on camera, but we really need to hire more normal people behind the scenes. Stop hiring so many blacks.
So you're with BET, you're saying?
BET is a subsidiary of Paramount. This was done as an independent project. This was not BET that said this. This was not Paramount that said
Got it. Okay.
Let me be clear. I like my job and the food and shelter that comes with it. But they didn't. They didn't say this. But the production company did. And I found within Hollywood that women really aren't given much of a place unless it's in front of the camera. Women of color are given even less of a place.
Correct.
And trans women are given none. So I've tried to work with the universities. I work with the University of Phoenix, University of Southern California, and I do an internship program where I work with women. And it's to get more women in. It's to get more women into Hollywood. And the more I started doing that, now don't get me wrong, the old guys are the ones that brought me in. I have found them fantastic, but not everyone does, and there's not always a way in because it's very, very nepotistic. So once I got really good at, it's called the fame formula, which is essentially how to operate within the algorithms online to make someone famous. It's a pretty simple formula. Ironically, I'm terrible at math, but that I can do. I started figuring if we got the right kind of people in front of the camera and behind the camera, the world could be a better place. If I'm very much an entrenched bureaucrat for Hollywood. I'm definitely part of kind of the old school Hollywood. I came up under that, and that's how I operate. I'm not the one to make the change, but I'm hoping that I can bring enough women in, and women of color and trans women, that change can be made, and they can make it, and I can give them a way in.
I believe that is fabulous, Summer, because in your industry, we know that Hollywood is the elite. People have thick skin. You have to go through a lot, and as professionals, but women in particular, right? But you've endured this, and you've been able to conquer, it seems, and get through the stigmas and that sort of thing, and be successful there. And you're now called or considered the Duchess of Hollywood.
So that was a cleanup. That was a spin. Originally, Variety called me the Wicked Witch of the West Coast because I kept making people cry. So my bosses asked for a nice spin on that, and they came to the Duchess instead. But yeah, that was started by Variety. Nice. Essentially, it was a polite way of saying a kingmaker. I make people famous. My whole job is to get butts in seats for movies or to make people famous.
Summer, that's one of the things I really like about you is just your ability to be blunt and honest, right? And and just put stuff out there in a manner where it's undisputable, right? It's not like there's questions, you can go fact check at anything that Summer says, and it'll come back and it'll be real. It'll be true. And that's what I really love about Behind the Scenes, because your show really truly brings about what really happens behind the scenes, because, I'll give you an example. I'm a big fan of MCU, right? Which I know you worked on. And looking at MCU, right, from a fan perspective, and you see the outcome and what's been created, on the fan perspective, and you see what's on screen, but then you start to deep dive backwards into character development. You start to deep dive into, when I say character development, I don't mean character development of the characters on screen, but I mean the character of the actors on screen. Right? Yeah, and you start kind of coming backwards and peeling back some of those different layers, kind of like a bloomin' onion at the Outback. You peel those back, and then you get into the middle, and you're like, wait a minute, I thought you were cool.
Yeah,
you were really cool on screen. But then you start to realize, wait a minute, some folks who work in, high level industries, it's not necessarily just Hollywood. It can be a lot of other industries. You start peeling back the layers of onion and what they've kind of put up as a facade. And you get to who some people are at their core. They are not what they seem. And that's what I love about behind the scenes is you bring that to the forefront and you're like, nah, Hollywood's not all glitz and glamour. It's a little dirty. It's kind of like, back acting, kind of stuff.
It's a different animal and it's different relationships. I worked with someone years ago. My assistant sent me to go get her coffee. And on film sets, it's kind of an all hands on deck situation. You'll find really well-known actors kind of pitching in to make sure things get done. But then you find B-listers who won't do shit. Oh, excuse my language. Who won't do squat. Trying to show you how important they are. So it's really weird. You have the really cool people. Like I got a call on The Last Avengers because Chris wouldn't stop screwing around on set. They kept messing with each other and ruining takes, and those were expensive takes. No one was happy, but. So Chris wouldn't stop screwing around. I got a phone call about that, but even the director and the producer are laughing because these guys they're decent. As soon as you turn around and say, hey, this is costing money, it's sorry. Then you have the Angelina Jolies in the world who suck. She's just a bad person. Like she's a bad human being.
Hey, she's trying to save the bees though. That came out yesterday. She's trying to save the bees.
So that's amazing. That persona that you see on screen is completely what you're saying, different than this real person. So Angelina Jolie comes across as this humanitarian in some of these movies that she's in, and she's also badass when she's avenging and she's zipping through the air, avenging things like that. Yeah, Tomb Raider, right? She's cool. But you're saying to work with, it's a nightmare. It sounds like. Is that what you're saying?
It's not just me. Like when there were leaked emails after there was a movie called The Interview with I'm blanking on his name and I absolutely love it, with James Franco and Seth Rogen. That came out a few years ago with the email leak that came because South Korea was upset. You found multiple studio emails, and I encourage everyone to Google it. Check anything I say. Always check. Never take anyone's word for it. A bunch of emails were leaked talking about how caustic she was.
Wow.
And this has been an industry secret because she is just the worst. And they didn't want the public to know because she sold so well.
Right.
But the best way I heard it put was, it's not because she is a consistent home wrecker. She did it with Billy Bob Thornton. She did it with Brad Pitt. She did it with all. It's not because
Smith. Yep.
It's not because she's a home wrecker. It's because she's a really crappy human being.
Oh, that's horrible.
Like Carrie Underwood is always a home wrecker. Love her to death.
Been hearing that for years, by the way.
But she's a cool human being. Like it's really hard to be mad at Carrie Underwood. Because she's the chick that'll take off her jacket and help you. And I've seen her helping PAs lugging stuff. Then you have Angelina Jolie, who's like, do you know who I am? I'm like, yeah, we do. Shut it. Like, stop. So she's really a terrible person.
Yeah, but she adopted like 7 children from other countries. So she has to be a good person, right?
Well, I adopted a bunch of children and I'm still a crappy person. That doesn't make you a good person. That means you can have good aspects.
So you're saying she needs an attitude adjustment?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
So what you're saying is she needs to adjust that attitude. But there are some, like Tom Cruise went off on some actors on a set because they weren't wearing masks, and then they were all, the news went all over the place that he was this jerk.
I like Tom Cruise.
Oh, do you really sit down? It's so funny.
Like he's so I get why he flipped out. Paramount gave him a bunch of money to make this film, and essentially said, if anyone catches COVID on that set, or there is one problem, our entire schedule for 2020 is shut down. They will not even let us restart in 2021.
Oh, wow.
So they dumped all of this pressure on him, and then he's constantly freaking out because if anyone catches COVID, it's over, and it's going to cost him a fortune, the studio's a fortune, and the writers a fortune. So I get
there's
why
always a reason.
Yeah,
but I get why he's freaked out. But
this is actually one of the films where he has skin in the game too. Like it wasn't just him as like an actor. Like he was helping run the project,
but what's so funny?
His rant was
he is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like he is not a normal person.
Okay,
you don't get that far into Scientology and be like normal. But he's a nice human. Intense.
Wow.
My boss used to say, like, he would refuse to send me near Tom Cruise. He refused to send any of the guys or girls that work near him. He's like, because it's like a tractor beam. Everyone that's worth having, he steals off me because he's so intense.
Oh, wow.
So
really?
he's like, my boss wouldn't let me go near him. He's like, I don't want you working for him and joining Scientology. I'm like,
so you can't handle the truth or something like that. He did that. That was so natural for him to do that. Obviously,
power.
He's like a tractor beam. Yeah. It's like a tractor beam, but you get sucked into the crazy. But he's a really nice guy, and that's kind of the weirdness of Tom Cruise.
That is funny.
And he's a good person. He's literally, if you guys Google at him, Tom Cruise, a lot of them have pulled over, saved people's lives, done CPR. Like they're genuinely good people, but they're nuts. It's such a weird.
You got to be a little nuts.
I think you have to be. I was just going to say that, Jeff. That's what I heard. You got to be a little bit out there to.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing then is basically like Tom Cruise is yin and yang all at the same time.
Yeah,
like Angelina's only. She's not even either.
He's like Luke and Vader. She's freaking Palpatine.
Oh, hey, you put that into the perspective that I 100% understand on that one.
Wow.
Yeah, there's the puppet master and the puppets, and definitely Palpatine. You're right. Absolutely. So Summer, I know you have a lot of really cool things that you guys have been working on. One thing that I thought was really interesting during the pandemic is you literally opened your home to a 24/7 live stream where people could, go on YouTube or Facebook or other social media sites. And like, I watched you and your daughter and Alexis like making bacon for breakfast one day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's a lot of bacon. I need to get over this. I'm gonna because you're only like maybe 3.5 hours drive for me. I could have made it over there in time.
You could have come for the bacon. The funny part is I don't eat meat, but I still cook it because everyone else does.
Right. And bacon's a favorite.
But bacon, I still love. It's not bacon.
Yeah, it's a star.
It was like I could smell the bacon. I'm not even joking. If I could give you guys like a glimpse into this pile of bacon, they had an assembly line in the kitchen going, right? And it was like someone's unpacking the bacon, someone's cooking the bacon, someone's taking the bacon off and then like putting it into like a, like let the grease drain or whatever, right? Like so you can eat it.
Assembly line, a bacon assembly line.
It was a pile of bacon like this big. I'm not even joking. Yes, I was like, I'll bring bread and lettuce and tomato and
do mad BLTs. Huh?
He's like, I know what to do with this bacon.
The bacon, yes.
Like that's brilliant. That would have been a good idea. There were a lot of lonely people during quarantine. And it started for Easter dinner. We did an Easter service and Easter dinner because I was raised Catholic for a group of nursing homes. We streamed to them for them to have it. And my mom's Jewish, so I did a Passover Seder for a bunch of nursing homes live streamed. And then a lot of people in nursing homes were asking if we had it on so they could kind of watch us fold laundry and have some normalcy. Awesome. And so we left it on for them. It kind of started to spread and we left it on, and then it was on YouTube and Facebook, and then we got in trouble because of playing movies and things in the background. And then we had one company that was like, hey, we can turn this into a reality show. I'm like, we don't have enough drama. Like, we don't have enough drama in my job. Like it's not for people stuck at home. It's just so that there was, because we'd play D&D and we'd cook and we'd do all of this, and there were so many people that were stuck at home alone that it kind of let us chat. Alexis is very good. She'll put it next to her just while she's working and talk with people that are stuck in quarantine. We're talking to people in India right now, especially older people that are home alone. And she'll just sit there and chat with them, and we get a bunch of penises sent to us every day. Like it's a plethora of penises. We get a lot of guys that are like, take off your clothes. I'm like, that is not the point of the stream. They're like, take it off. I'm like, no,
just random. Wow.
Yeah,
and then
penises. It's not.
That's what happens when you're live. No,
yeah.
But a wonderful thing to do during quarantine. What has it been like in Hollywood? I mean, now, because I get HBOs now, and so movies that are released to the theater are also live or streaming on those cable channels. So how is that? What's happened with that? Is that affecting payroll for people or opportunities and that sort of thing?
I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. So
really? Okay.
I'm like, let me say this in a way that's not going to get me fired, because I do know that my bosses will tune in to see what I say and do. Because very rightfully, they don't trust me.
You could say next, and then we can go to the next question.
It was an absolute crapshoot. We were buying content that was 5 years old because there was nothing to stream on Netflix. We're still buying. So if anyone has content, sell and sell high and sell now.
Wow.
There was nothing.
Yeah, no, you want to write that down.
All of that content, like it's been consumed. All of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people have been in lockdown for so long. Like whatever's on Netflix or whatever. I had to cancel. I had to cancel my Disney Plus membership because, like, I've seen every MCU, every Star Wars, everything so many times. Like, and I'm like, okay, I'll renew my Disney Plus when the Mandalorian comes out again.
I did the same thing. But I get calls like, they're like, do you have anything good? I'm like, define good. I have stuff. They're like, screw good, we'll take stuff. And so people were selling content that was just terrible. And now we've gone back to work, but we're still really limited on what we can do. So we started filming and going back, but we really started pushing online. The future of media is very, very much online. You know, this is for kind of the death rattles of traditional television, except for Paramount. Paramount will always be wonderful. But it's the death rattles of television, and the internet's killing it. So the studios have been taking online content. I mean, some of the shows that we put up were just TikTok clips mushed together.
Yeah,
that's amazing to me.
You know what I think is really interesting too is like I heard an announcement for a new movie coming out, which is and I love the series of movies. My daughter loves them as well. We watch them all as a family. The Transylvania series, and so like Transylvania 4 is coming out. I think next month or something like that. But it's the first movie in the last 12 or 15 months that says, you know what? We're not going to be streaming this on any kind of streaming provider. If you want to come see Transylvania 4,
you got to go
to the theater.
Yeah, they're stupid.
I agree, but here's what's going to happen. My daughter's going to want to see that movie so bad, it'll probably make us go to the movie theater.
Right.
Because the franchise has been so good.
I agree. I love the Transylvania series. It was brilliantly done. The problem is the movie theaters have created an untenable situation. So the studios, when you look at national and international distribution, they're charging so much for traditional film that the theaters are having to raise costs and make their monies off concessions, which they didn't used to have to do. And the situation it's created is this constant rise and this constant cost. By doing that, they've ensured that these prices have to stay so high. Well, for $14, I can stream that movie in my house and have 15 people watch it. So
for $14, I can have the streaming service for an entire month and watch like 27 movies.
And that's the point. So everything that's happened during quarantine with film streaming was eventually going to happen.
Okay.
This just hit fast forward.
Accelerated it,
exactly. And people are trying to go back. because the old way was more profitable and it's what they know. But the studios, I've been called to consult pretty frequently with the studios, and my recommendation is not to go back. And I'm never wrong. They pay me a lot of money to be right. But I'm telling them not to go back because that way of doing it's dead. Unfortunately, a lot of the executives don't have the know-how to work with new media, but they're smart enough to hire people that do. So the older executives, like I know the top of Paramount, is saying, no, we need to continue the way we've been going and find ways to do the embedded advertising where you can just click from films to the product so people can buy outright and make money that way. And we can make more than going back to traditional theaters. And
hey, so you mean the movie industry is finally taking note of what radio and podcasting has been doing forever?
Oh, sweetie. No. They're not going to give you credit for it. They invented it.
No, they did not. I've been
of course they did.
Keeping stuff together for a long time.
Yeah,
we steal stuff and pretend it was our idea. Always have. Like that's the entire basis of Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, it's I could not believe going into the studios, Paramount Studios, and seeing the green screen and really how that scene was produced, as opposed to what we see, the big tidal waves and all that big stuff that is happening. It's all make believe, right? And so a lot of it's that, but it taps into our psyche. It does something for us that makes us feel good and makes us cry and gets our emotions, and we get caught up in that. It takes us to a place, I think, of comfort.
Escapism.
Yeah, it's escapism. That's exactly what's happening.
It's why during pandemics and depressions, movies and bars are the only safe bet. Except for the last pandemic, that was kind of weird. Usually movies are golden. This one didn't do so well because we couldn't be on sets. But movies and bars always do well because people need to escape.
Yeah, we need that.
I feel like if you own a liquor store during the pandemic, you probably made out pretty well.
I have a friend that's part owner of Bevmo, and he said their sales, Bevmo and Pornhub, through the roof.
Yeah, they're like
Pornhub.
170%. Yeah.
I know I visited Bevmo quite a bit for my personal stuff, so I can't say that about.
Well, the two of them did well.
So, Summer, what is your show about? I mean, for the audience that's here behind the mic, and may have not picked up on your program, how do they get it? What is the show about? What do you bring, from your perspective in terms of Hollywood to your program?
So I bring honesty to the point of insulting about Hollywood. Today we're going to be talking to Duchess of Hollywood. He was the manager of Diego Sanchez.
Don't spoil it.
And I'm not going. And the person that everyone is holding responsible for getting Diego Sanchez booted out of the UFC. So we're going to have him on the show today. That's going to be an interesting one. Most weeks we get on TikTok stars, we get on YouTube stars, we get on film stars. We had the guy that played Mr. Feeney. We've had a whole bunch. We were going to have Ron Jeremy on. He was a friend of mine, but he's in trouble right now.
Okay.
But sorry, I was like, we're going to have him on, but we decided not to. But what we talk about is what it's really like, and I try and push that. Someone's going to be famous, someone's going to be rich, someone's going to make money. Why not you? I mean, it sounds terrible to say I give away how to do it, but my whole job is to make people famous, to make movies get watched. And there's no reason the crapola that I put out, excuse my language, and I put out some bad movies, should do better, or this actor over this actor. I believe it was actually Martin Luther King, when Star Trek was on the air, he was a huge fan. He talked to Nichelle Richards about leaving the show, and God rest her soul, I loved her. Whenever I talked to her, she was the sweetest person, and she always told this story.
Right.
She said she didn't see the point of being on this stupid sci-fi show. She hated it. And she said Martin Luther King actually wrote her and said, don't leave, because this shows a future where everyone's integrated, where the races and genders are integrated and equal. And so he begged her not to leave. And I believe film can do that. Yeah. I believe film and television, if the right content is put out, can help. and the right people are behind the camera and behind the scenes. So what I talk about is who's good, who's bad, who's putting things out and why, and how, especially on things like social media, to make your mark, put yourself out there, and how to get famous, because it's not hard. Anyone can do it. It's really just formula. The difference is, what will you do with that platform? And I like to push it out and help people that will do something good with that platform. I charge a lot of money to people who I don't think will be so great. Like, I get politicians out of trouble when they get caught with hookers. So my way of making up for being a dreadful person most of the time is trying to help the people that should be in front of the camera rather than those that shouldn't.
I advocate all day long for Idris Elba needs to be James Bond, straight up. Like, I've seen.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm telling you, I've seen some stuff that's been written, and I'm just like, that dude would make the greatest James Bond, you know, outside of like the original James Bond from back in the day. Like, you know what I mean?
He could play anyone.
He might even. I'm telling you, his demeanor and the way his swagger is there. So, you know, I saw him in some black cowboy movie that was just
that movie was awesome.
That movie was fabulous. You know,
last night.
Did you watch it? Yeah, and so he's just, you're right. He can do whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. I just don't want, so because of the BLM movement, people are pushing people of color more forward in film, which I like, but I'm afraid they're going to do the same thing they did after Me Too. After Me Too, there was a rush of women in film. They made Ghostbusters, except they didn't make Ghostbusters. They made Ghostbusters as if Ghostbusters were women. It was terrible. They did Doctor Who. Wonder Woman was good. But in general, they did Captain Marvel, dreadful. There was this whole thing where they're trying to push women forward. Like, Finn would have made a better Jedi than Rey, but they needed a woman, and that was part of the rule there. They did it with
hey, I gotta back up Captain Marvel. My daughter wants to be an Air Force fighter pilot because of Captain Marvel. So that did what it was supposed to do in my household.
I'm glad it did it in yours, but for the most part, scenes like at the end of Avengers where they had all the women assemble, it was insulting. Like, just from a woman's perspective, it's insulting. It's kind of you don't need to spoon feed me, just give me a good project. They did it with Black Panther. They put a good film together, and it was given less money because they didn't think people would go see a black film. Well, people went and saw a Marvel film. Crazy, it was incredible film. If they had done this with women, rather than just trying to with Doctor Who, they tried to shoehorn in a woman. Now, if they had gone for the story in Doctor Who, say Alex Kensington, who played River Song, if they had gone for an arc that he turned into Alex Kensington because that was the person he loved most and the face he loved most, show him crying every time he's looking at a mirror, and have at the very end him looking, touching his face, going, "Hello, sweetie." You could have used a strong actress in a good series that people would have loved that existed there, but instead they tried to shoehorn in a woman. They made a mistake, and women in film has died back down. I don't want them to do the same thing with the BLM movement. I want to see people like Idris Elba come forward and good stories. Because then they're not great stories, turn biopics, around.
All of that.
Then they're not going to turn around and say it's not viable, which is what they do with women in film. Sorry.
Your insights are so invaluable. Just
she needs a whole hour herself, or more, you know. And I could just speak. I mean,
I want to bring on our next guest, who's just an amazing influencer. You know, he talks about journey to success. Tony is a special VIP. He brings guests from some of the biggest names of the world of Hollywood stars, sports greats, business game changers, best-selling authors, world-class CEOs. They all share their insights and personal journeys on their road to their success. And one of the things I really love about Tony is him and I have this really crazy synergy with like Finding Your Frequency, which is a show that I co-host with Jeff, who was on a little bit earlier. And the way that we operate, like the Frequency show, and the way that Tony approaches it. Now, Tony's on a whole other level when it comes to the people he has access to, but getting those high level individuals to explain their stories and who they are and where they came from and what their why is and how they became an entrepreneur. And, you know, I use this phrase on Frequency all the time. Like, why did you walk the plank of entrepreneurship into the waters of the unknown? Right. And I say that because my last name is Treasure, and I'm just like, you know, got all things pirate.
Gotta go to the pirate theme. Yeah. It sounds like a great show. Why I haven't a show. What's the name of that show? That sounds awesome.
It's the Tony Durso show.
Tony Durso. Hey, Tony.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for waiting.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, another fan.
Hi.
Hi.
What do you call your fans, Tony? The Dursos?
I call them elite. I call them fellow entrepreneurs, because what I do on my show I bring some of the most successful people in their category. I bring them on my show. They talk about their journey, how they made it, and they give information, tips, advice, and guidance to everyone. And they're so successful in their category, I call them elite entrepreneurs. And it's just kind of just taken off. My audience are entrepreneurs, like small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs. I do have C-level executives and career-minded people. And we just learn from everyone, because there's so many facets of business to be successful. It's not just one thing. It's not just one book. It's not just one mantra. It's not just one anything. It's many, many, many things. A good analogy is like a diamond. A diamond has these flat surfaces called a facet. You shine it and polish it, and it shines. And if you do that with all the facets of the diamond, it shines. Well, I kind of liken that to business. There's many things you need to know about: marketing, branding. You need to know about sales, how to coach. You need to know about photography. You need to know about digital media. So I bring on people. I just had on 2 gentlemen in separate interviews who have sold more books than any other author in history, over 500 million books. I'm talking about Mark Victor Hansen, Jack Canfield. They talked about how they did it, their journey. And this is very inspiring to the audience, those that want to be an author, those that have some material to be an author, and so forth. So that's kind of like a short encapsulation of a bit of what my show is about. And there are, with a lot of promotion and marketing, it's gotten quite a few visits and audience members.
I gotta say,
done a great job, man. Go ahead, Summer.
I'm listening to him. I'm like, I talk about who on set got their penis glued to their leg with body paint. I'm listening to this guy. I'm like, I've made the wrong life choices. That's brilliant. How do you get access to these people?
Yeah.
I love that. Sorry, I'm being
because he's Tony Durso.
I think that's a perfect question, Tony. How do you get access to these people, and how do you overcome any kind of ego that they may have, so that they can give you who they are? Get into their personal life and their fears and all of those things.
Well, that's a really good question. There's a couple of good questions in here.
Yeah.
When I first started this 5 years ago, I didn't know anybody in the industry at all whatsoever. I didn't have any audience. I didn't know how to podcast. I didn't know anything. But I brought on a mentor, Michael Benner, who is a very well-known figure in Southern California. Mm-hmm. And he mentored me on radio and talking. And I just started learning and how to bring on people. And I started off small. I started off with a radio show live called Revenue Chat Radio. Mm-hmm. And after about a year or two, I got invited to join Voice America on the Influencers channel.
Yeah.
And started a second show there, which now is just the first show. But I've just grown up from people who are entrepreneurs to who are more, let's say, more successful in their category. And it's just grown and grown. I get probably 400 or 500, maybe 1,000 emails and requests a month to get on my show. And it's just 4 shows. I'm so booked out. I'm looking into 2022, first half of next year, for interviews that I do now to go on. And I really don't know the answer to one of your questions. How do I do it? Because I'm Italian, I love to talk. And I think the one thing I do when I interview someone is I hold my hands firm and I don't talk. I let them talk. And what I find from the people I interview, they almost always say this off camera. They say, Tony, that was one of the best interviews. Mm-hmm. You let me talk. You let me say what I wanted to say. They get stuff off their chest. They talk about how they made it. And they're just regular people. They've just refused to give up. That's kind of one bottom thing. They just kept at it and kept at it and kept at it. I've interviewed over 500 people, millionaires, billionaires. And I tell you, aside from maybe one person, maybe 2 that comes in my head, in 5.5 years of interviewing, not one person had everything handed to them. They had adversities. One person was living on the streets. I mean, people have had their homes burned down. They've had so many things, but they continued and continued to be successful in their field. And that's what we bring out in the show, and people just really love that. It's inspiring and motivational, though it's not necessarily how it started or what I was really trying to do, but it does give a lot of inspiration to be successful in your own field, your own category.
Yeah, Tony, that's something that I found a lot with doing interviews similar to what you do. Like our styles are kind of similar, other than I'm not Italian and I can't talk as well as you can. But
you probably don't do your hands.
But you're moving your hands really good when you talk, so that's good.
But no, I mean, that's like a common thread that I've had also when doing interviews with people who are entrepreneurs or C-level executives running their own businesses and doing those type of things. They have this level of what I call stick-to-itiveness, right? That it doesn't matter, right? If your house burns down or, you know, you have some kind of tragedy or whatever, they're still able to kind of level set whatever happens and move above and beyond that. And even though that tragedy or that thing has happened to them, that's like push them down, right? They're like a what do you call a guy with no arms and no legs who's floating in the lake? You call him Bob, right? He just floats back up to the top, right? And that's like the resiliency of some of those entrepreneurs, where they just don't allow people to or circumstances to put them down, right? Like whatever you throw in their direction, they're either deflecting, right? The minutia or whatever it is, or they're stepping into their light or into their comfort zone of, hey, you know what? I'm used to this pressure, so bring it on, baby.
Faith. I mean, it's called faith. It's called believing in who you are and knowing that this discomfort is going to pass. It's not something that's permanent for any of us, but it's a difficult thing in that moment, right?
Yeah, well, you don't learn.
The only time you fail, by the way, the only time you fail is when you stop.
When you stop.
You give up, when you lay down, you don't get back up.
You know, and Summer, you're talking the same way. You said, look, I want you to succeed. So you have this push that you do, this coaching, this, you know, kind of this drive that you see in yourself, and you're saying that this is possible, and you convey that.
Yeah.
She definitely, she heard me. Okay. Yeah, she does that. She pushes people through as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She does. And I know, Summer, you have a show coming up here in a couple of minutes that's going to go live on the Variety channel, correct?
I think she lost her sound.
Well, that's okay.
I muted myself.
Oh yeah. So because I can hear you, Summer.
The alarms went off the show. I think I muted myself.
Okay, so she's got to come back. So, but Tony, again, you know, for you on the Influencers channel, you've built yourself up quite a community of folks that are listening and learning from you. And you're bringing on change makers and influencers and folks like that who are making an impact as well. So the show, what was your why? I mean, you said the show started you started out with a different program, and now you're with your own show and bringing on these influencers. What was your why for doing something like this?
My why was to control what I could do. Just go back forward just a little bit. I had my own lead generation marketing company. Okay. I think my voice is out of sync here, but this is like an Asian film or something.
Do you feel like you're talking and you're
I'm talking and then the sound comes, but that's okay.
Hey, I'm seeing the lips and the mouth match up correctly.
And it's totally synced. Yeah.
I was doing lead generation and marketing. I had my own business. And I've been in corporate America like 32 years or so. And I made a lot of people a lot of money, and I did a lot of promotion. I did a lot of marketing and that sort. So in the year 2007 or so, I started my own business, because in corporate America, you're pegged. You can only make so much money. You know, I'm making a comfortable mid 6 digits, but there's only a level that you can go unless there's stock options or your public or other options. So I decided and elected to just go start my own business, so I would take the ceiling off my income. And in 7 years, I had 4 major industries, federal protocols, regulations, rulings, and so forth, that totally impacted my business so much that it brought everything down to the ground. Give you an example. I walk into my office one day on a Monday, and one of my clients, I had multiple, I was doing $1 million a year in sales on this one client. I had multiple, and they canceled. Why? Well, a new federal regulation came in, and the way that they accepted and did worked with marketing and marketing services, they had to retool and rework it all. And for the time being, they had to shut everything down. And this happened with all my customers over and over. Well, I got tired, and I looked for something that I could control myself. And for everyone out there, if you are looking to hack your day job, or if you're an entrepreneur or whatever you have, think about this, because when I found out about podcasting, it was like, hey, I can do this. I'm Italian. I can talk. So I started podcasting because it's something I can control myself. I can control the name of my show, when I air, what I talk, my guests, and build a business out of it. And I wrote up something called the Vision Map, a whole thing. I give it away on my site, TonyDurso.com/books. And I put that in there. And I'm getting signals. Everything good? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My AirPods died and I broke stuff.
So that was for summer.
Oh, okay.
So you started a vision.
So
vision map.
The vision map is like how to accomplish your vision and the purpose that you attach to it, and what's your long-term objective. And I wrote this all up, and which you can use for anything, any business, any endeavor, even in relationships. You can use this. It's like, where are you going? What do you want to accomplish? Where are you going to be? And it's sort of like you go into the future and you look back and you go, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm accomplishing. And that's your vision. And I've been to college, university, and I've graduated with honors and all that. I've read a lot of books, and I've taken what I've learned from a lot of people. And one of the most important pieces of information was the piece on the vision, which Jordan Adler in Beach Money, I give him the salute on that, because he had nothing at a point. And I really don't want to mess his story up. It's a beautiful long story. Get Beach Money by Jordan Adler. And by the time of chapter 2 or 3, you may start crying to see what happened in his life and how he turned things around by just establishing a really good vision. Well, I took all this information I learned from many, many mentors, and I created this vision map there's like 10 words or so, but it's not just these words, it's how to do them, how to use them. And I give that book away. Give you a quick example. I've been all over the world. I've eaten in some of the finest places. And one of my hobbies at the time was finding who had the best chocolate souffle in the world. Now, I know chocolate and sugar and flour and butter and so forth, but I am not a dessert pastry chef. I don't know how to make this stuff. So you may know the words, but you don't necessarily know how to do it. So in the terms of the vision map to accomplish what you want, I wrote that up, and I've helped millions of people accomplish their vision. And that also helps bring on a good show, because I'm bringing on people. And one of the first questions is, why did you come up with your vision? This famous person, I've interviewed Wesley Snipes, Russell Brunson, Frank Shankwitz, Jeff Hoffman, Priceline. I've interviewed, some good names. Well, and I always ask, how did you start? And it's really an interesting story. And my audience gets very motivated from that.
And Tony, and I want to hold you up for just 1 second, because Summer, who had a little audio issue before, she's getting ready to jump off. She broke the AirPods.
I was trying to tell you, I'm like, I have to get to my show in a few minutes, but I want to watch this because he's got really good stuff to say.
He's amazing.
And
you both do.
He's amazing. I'm like, I really want to hear him, but I have to get ready for my show.
Real quick, before you jump off, tell people how they can listen to your show that you're about to jump on literally in 5 minutes.
Jump on Variety Behind the Scenes with some of Helene. Pardon? What are you saying? Alexis is like yelling in the background. Voice America, Variety. He knows.
Yeah. What time does the show air?
It starts in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
8
so
minutes.
That's what I was trying to write.
4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay.
Summer,
Voice
thank
America
you
Variety
show today. You guys go check out behind the scenes with Summer, Helene, and her crew.
Thank
always
you, Summer.
Real and ready to go. Summer, thank you for being on today.
Great to see you. Have a great show.
It was great seeing you. Sorry about all the kerfuffle. I can't use technology. Yeah. Have a great show. I'm going to track you down. I like you. I like you. Right. I got to get
right on, Summer.
We'll get you guys together soon. Absolutely.
All right.
I got another fan. Yay.
You're just a fan magnet, Tony.
12,500,003.
1. 3. Is that
counting? Well, actually, I was counting downloads. I'm approaching 13 million downloads of my show, which is really, really exciting in the 5.5 years I've been doing this.
Wow.
You are.
And so talk to the audience how they download your show. They catch it live and
there's
download it. Yeah.
There's many places. I'm on Roku, Alexa. I'm on 16 AM FM radio stations across the country. iHeart, Spotify, Voice America. I'm on World Talk America. VoiceAmerica.com is the main URL. But also, if you go to TonyDurso.com, all my shows, including the prior revenue chat radio shows, are there, as well as you get to see some of my, information about me. You get to see my baby picture. You get to see my summa cum laude certificate. You get to see that I do things for the homeless, and we have fed, if I have it right, 52,500 meals so far that we have provided to poverty people. Not counting breakfast for the homeless, which is a whole nother thing, but you get to see a little bit about me and things that I do if you go to TonyDurso.com. And of course, all my shows are there as well. So that's easy.
Tony, what you're saying is you're not just a pretty face and a nice voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. Like, ever since we met and we've been working together on the show, whether it be, stuff that you and Jeff's talked about, or, things that we've had to work out technologically over the last couple of years as your show is starting to grow, it just is a testament to you as a human being, and really like what's in your heart and who you are and how you approach life. And I appreciate that very much, because you're a beacon of light to other people who, don't really quite understand maybe how the world works. And by tuning into your show and listening to the questions that you have for these high-level authors and entrepreneurs, and just being able to kind of bring it to a level where other normal, everyday human beings can kind of understand the concepts that you guys are putting forth. It really is a testament to just who you are as a person. And I appreciate the work that you're doing. Voice America appreciates you as a host. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Tony Durso is the #1 radio show host on VoiceAmerica.com. He, by far and away, there's somebody coming close on you, though. Just want you to know. So
that's fantastic. Come on, come one, come all. We encourage and we want it on Voice America. Who is that, by the way?
Voice America is the worldwide leader in live internet talk radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Tony. So with your show and all the good things that you do, as you're describing your why for doing this, it really echoes the why that I've heard throughout the network from our other hosts. They have a passion for the work that they do, and they really put some time and effort into learning their craft and learning how to articulate what they want to do and how to move people forward. And that's, what I'm noticing as you are describing the work that you do and the why that you do the work. It's that synergy that's throughout this network. So I'm echoing what Ryan said. We value what you're doing and your why for doing it. And the fact that you are showing others how to do the same thing, how to get out of their own way, how to be successful. And again, meeting people along the way with stories that are so impactful and powerful that you're crying because, you know, it's like an emotional kind of thing because you can sympathize with them. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that.
I'll show you one really fast tip, and that is when I bring on my guest, I usually don't know much about them. I did that purposefully, because when I get them on the air, I want to know everything, and I'm so interested that I let them, you know, and I ask this and this and this, and that helps satisfy my interest or my information on who they are and brings them to the audience. It sort of seems to have worked that way. So there's a limit of how much I want to know about my guests before I bring them on, so that I stay interested.
Knowing your guests and letting them talk, like you said, your listeners are saying, Tony, and your guests are saying, you let me be who I am. And that brings out all of this stuff, you know, because, you know, if you get a list of questions, you rattle those off in interviews and then you're done, right? And sometimes that captures the audience. Sometimes it's so scripted, you can't go further into the conversation.
Yeah, you're 100%, Sandra. And that's one of the things, like, and Sandra, you've done radio shows with me on Finding Your Frequency. We take the same approach that Tony does. It's like, you know, I can read Tony's entire bio and talk about Tony when I interview Tony, but it's another thing to hear it from Tony than it is to hear me say the bio, or to say, or for the audience to hear me talk about the guests that we have on and what they've done. For me, as like a consumer of podcasts and radio content, I don't want to hear the host tell me about the guest. I want the guest to tell me about themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so the quicker you can get to that, you know, from a content creation perspective, from my opinion, is like the bread and butter of actual content creation. You know, it's not scripted 60 minutes. It's, hey, how you doing? Right? Yeah. What are you up to? Yeah. What's next? How did you do what you did? Why do you do what you do? Right? Really simple, very honest who, what, where, when, why, how questions that, when dialed back and delivered appropriately with good timing, really creates great content that sits with the everyday average individual and gives them knowledge and information that they can actually comprehend, you know, versus like, you know, something high level thought leadership, which I love high level thought leadership, but you've got to bring it down, narrow it, and deliver it in a manner where it's not
meet people where they are.
Yeah. You got to meet them right there.
Yeah.
Level playing field, right?
You said it well. Except for me, the one thing that I do differently on that, and I've tried that style, but for me, I like to introduce my guests to the audience so that they know who is this person. So they get a short little spiel, and then we go into the hour on all this information. And for me, that kind of works that way, but there's different ways to do it. I'm just so glad that people like my show and enjoy it. And it's just been fantastic. It's been a dream come true.
So COVID nonstop for you, same business as usual, has it been that way for you, Tony? And what do you have coming up on your future shows?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I have to go look through my list. I have so many people coming. I'm booked for many months out there.
Yeah, you said 2022?
Right now, the people I interview, we're looking at broadcasting somewhere in the first half of 2022. The one person that comes to mind that just came on is a lady named, I don't want to butcher the name. Her name is Rosie, and she's a former U.S. Treasury director.
Okay.
And that's like, oh, I want to interview that. I can't wait to bring her on. And I know that I've got, I think, the president of Pepperdine University coming on. And that's where I got married nearly 30 years ago at Pepperdine University at the Stouffer Chapel in Malibu Beach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I have so many applications. It's like, but I just love it. I just love it. But I welcome you. If you go to TonyDURSO.com and scroll down the podcast, you'll see little snippets. Just scroll down of all the people that I've had, and I've had some good ones on there, some great ones. And
she has some awesome
I'm honored.
Ones. Yeah,
I'm honored.
Hey, when I said Pepperdine was a terrible university, that was a joke.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, no,
Selective hearing. The headphones. It doesn't go through on the headphones.
That's a terrible university. Don't ever send your children there. No.
Well, Tony, we're glad that you're part of the Voice America family. We have hosts that come on and we have professionals that come on every day and host programs with us. Some of them are new, some of them are seasoned and have been with this network for some time now. And we do ask our hosts that we bring on behind the mic to just give us, what do you say to the hosts, folks who are out there looking to do a radio show or who may are contemplating doing it? Why is it important? Do you think that you have a voice and choosing the right platform?
Oh, absolutely. I am so glad to have this chance because I was starting to go down that road when we had the broken headset earlier with your prior guest. But when you podcast, no matter what you do out there, it gives you another dimension to talk about and get leads. Some people podcast to get leads. Some people podcast because they want to earn income. Some people podcast because it's their passion of what they love and they want to grow in this field. There's something that every single person knows because that is very unique to you. Share it with the world. People want to hear you and what you have to do. Believe it or not, they do, because not one person knows everybody. And not one person can listen to everybody and read everybody's books and listen to everybody's podcasts and take everybody's classes and so forth. So if you curate some good people or good content, it really helps people that want to move on in that field, and it's inspirational as well as motivational to do. Very important. And if you already have a job or if you're already running a business, great. Then you can podcast because you really want to do it. Now, there is a school out there, a very big school of thought that says, don't do what you like. Don't do what you want. Just make money, get into all the debt you can. And I am the opposite school of that. I'm going to stay politically correct. I'm not going to mention anything, but I'm a testament of it. I love talking. You can see I move my hands a lot. That's how I talk.
I love it. You're expressive. That's good.
And just be able to take what you have. Thank you, Ryan. Be able to take what you have and share it with the world is so important. Once you get into podcasting, you'll get hooked. And if you need to know how to promote and bring visitors, I know that from my prior business. So I know a lot about promotion and bringing people and how to use social media. In fact, I do that as a service, social media marketing, also known as digital media. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody, it's that beginning that, that mentality of wanting to get out there and you have a voice and you have something of value and you do want to express that, but every platform isn't equal. All things aren't equal. So when you are using a platform, what a lot of our hosts have said, they enjoy the support that they get from us as a network, to plug them into the world and the community that they're talking to. So you got engineers that's with you for the hour that you're on, and you have social media platforms that are promoting the programs as you let us know what they are as our host, and we get out there and we tell the world about these shows and bring traffic. So it's a united effort.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
An effort by the host. It's definitely an effort by the network as well.
I haven't mentioned it, but hands down, being with Voice America has helped so much in my growth. It's like, we're not doing it justice, but we really should talk about it. All the services and all the features and everything you get, because when you start just out of the blue, where do you go? I mean, there's people, they charge a lot of money to get you started on a podcast,
right?
To really get it right. But for a very reasonable amount, you can get into Voice America and they'll set you up with your voice and your announcements, your intro, your extra, your music, your theme, so much stuff. Get a mentor, get someone to help you. Get Voice America. Absolutely believe in it.
Thank you, Tony. Absolutely. Well, we believe in you, and we love and obviously 12 million downloads. That's a lot of downloads. How long have you been doing it?
5 years and a couple of months.
Yeah, and you're getting to the point where you're almost 500,000 downloads a month, right?
I'm getting there. I'm starting to hit surpass 100,000 downloads per show when I do a show, and also on my AM FM radio. I'm thinking like 300,000-400,000 a month streaming on top of that.
That's just so wonderful, Tony. I mean, what a testament to the idea of like, they will, if you build it, they will come, right? You know, that whole baseball analogy from the movie, but that's not the way that it works in the society today. If you build it, they will not come. But if you build it and you market it, right, and you provide thought leadership,
and promote it,
if you build it, they have no idea. They don't know who you are. Like, what? What did you build? Where is it?
Yeah, and that's what I encourage everybody who's out there. Like, you know, it's one thing to come up with a concept and a creation and to put it out there, but it's a whole other thing to do, you know, something from a marketing standpoint, from a promotional standpoint, a PR standpoint, you know, and really, like, you know, put some footing into the ground and raise your hand up into the sky of the unknown cyber webs and be like, yo, I'm here. I got some stuff to say. I'm going to bring you some people that have some stuff to say, and I'm going to bring you as a listener some value, right, to make sure that you come and listen to me, because a lot of these podcasts that started in, you know, 2020 and late 2020 or early 2021 that were what I call pandemic based podcasts, because people were home. They had like very little to do. They're trying to just do these podcasts for fun. Like, those are like kind of a niche area versus, you know, like Voice America and Tony, where we've been working on this for a really long time, really trying to bring value to people in a scenario where we're not watching cats do backflips. You know, it's not some silly content creation. You know, it really comes from the heart. We're trying to teach people, educate them, and provide value to them that they cannot get anywhere else. Like, you're not going to go to any other provider like Voice America and find the type of talent like Tony, the type of content like our hosts, the type of network directors and executive producers like Sandra.
Well, I like that plug. Thank you so much.
And you're not, and you're not going to find a production team that's more, you know, willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that everything is the best that it possibly can be. You know, and I know it's a shameless self-promotion, but I don't care. But I've been at this company for 18 years, right? And I wouldn't be here for 18 years if it wasn't for the fact that we do things the right way. I left the other company that I used to work at 18 years ago because they didn't do it the right way.
And I have some news for every single person in this audience. Every single person, without fail, you have heard of AT&T, Mercedes-Benz, Pepsi-Cola, Chevrolet, Coca-Cola, Mercedes-Benz, Chevrolet, Ford, man. You've heard of all of them. Why? They spend billions of dollars every year to tell you, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. In fact, there's a food, which I'm not going to mention, which I don't think is very good, particularly, but it's the #1 fast food in the world. Why? They spend bazillions to tell people you're there, that they're there. And the same with you. If you're an author, you're a business, you're a coach, whatever you do, people don't know you're there. You may as well write a book and put it on a podium out in the forest and just let it sit there, because if you don't promote it, if you don't know how to promote it, it goes nowhere. And promotion is the key. And that is just so, so important. Voice America, since we're kind of on that string a little bit, has nodules. Am I saying that right? Modules. Nodes and modules where you can promote your show, you can put it on social media, you can promote your press release and so forth, which helps you bring out the word even more. Those are very valuable and normally very expensive by themselves. And in the package, it's very, very good. And it's just anything and everything to promote yourself is really what's the key. If you're going to do it, be serious about it. Don't just do it because of lack of time or you don't have anything else to do. If you're serious about doing something, then do it right. Be a professional and do it.
And bring it right.
Promote the heck out of it.
Yeah. And bring it though. And I would say this because everybody, we don't knock on everyone's door and we don't have a lot of hosts either, but we do work with professionals who are accountable for who they are and how they want the world to know what they know. And I would tell you that a lot of people are tuning away from mainstream media because there's a bunch of talkers that are regurgitating someone else's talking points. And so as you do these shows and as we have our listeners come into these shows, we know folks are listening to these shows because they truly need some assistance. They are going through some things on their health. On their health side, they're emotionally got some challenges, and they're really looking for some answers and some real answers. They don't want Band-Aids anymore. So I love the fact that we work with a bunch of professionals who are extremely accountable for what they say, and they know that somebody on the other side of that is going to be taking some call to action, and we want that. But you can assure yourself that if you're doing a show, the next show around you won't be somebody who's just talking to talk and floating some stuff out there because it can be said.
You make a very valuable point as we kind of come up on the last couple of minutes of our stream here, but you make a very valuable point. If you tune in to MSNBC, Fox, or CNN, or CBS, or any of the news affiliates that have, the news
of the day, the talking points of the day.
What's crazy, right? And you guys know this about me. I'm like a talk radio dude. I've been talk radio since I was 18 years old or 19 years old doing talk radio. And, it's always regurgitated information. The same things they say in the morning are the same things they say in the afternoon. It's the same news stories reported over and over and over again throughout the day. My question to everyone out there that's listening to this or viewing this is, what do you actually learn from watching any of those newscasts? Do you learn how to make more money? Do you learn how to be a better person? Do you learn how to be a better parent? Do you learn how to empower yourself? Do you learn how to do any of that by watching CNN, NBC, CS? No, all you see is negative connotations of the world and how everybody's just
steady diet of it. A steady diet.
Everyone hates everyone, right? And
you get mad.
That's not what the world is about. That's not what Voice America is about. That's where we're trying to bring you content that actually matters.
I'd like to add one thing on top of that.
Please do.
One thing on top of that is that you talk about what you hear in the morning, you hear at night. Well, guess what? It's no secret. They read. It's a script. There's no secret. Every single news station in the country, morning, afternoon, and evening, is reading the same script. No matter where you are, it's the same thing. I've seen so many times different stations across the country saying the exact same identical thing. It's no secret. So everyone's getting fed the same thing. So you're not getting fed anything different. But it's also kind of, as you mentioned, how helpful is that information really? You have to take a look at that. It's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah. So the alternative are shows like yours and Summers and the other programs that we have here at Voice America. And I know there's other platforms out there as well, but it's important to know that there is integrity in these programs. It's important to know that the hosts have put some time and effort into what they want to bring forward. And you associating yourself, Tony, with these change makers, these influencers, these folks that are fearless out there, but they went through some stuff. And now they're sharper and stronger and better, and they're standing tall in their resolve. And you can bring them forward as examples to make a difference. So thank you for what you do.
That's what I like to do. You're very welcome. I've never, ever thought of it, but you're so right. My shows are all real people who've really made it, real success, and they share their information. I mean,
and for free.
It's good stuff.
And for free.
You don't pay.
You're not buying like a program or whatever. No, you just tune into Tony's show and learn stuff. I mean, that's the name of the game. You know what, Tony? Thank you so much for being on Behind the Mic with Voice America. Sandra, you're the greatest co-host on the planet.
Thank you so much. I love what I do. I love being here, and I love meeting hosts and interviewing with just kind of revisiting with our host. We used to do quite a bit of it when we were in the building prior to COVID, and we did have hosts physically fly in to the network. Some of them come in and they do their shows in the studio if they're in town for something, or they come in directly for that reason. So now we're remote, and soon to, I'm sure, get back into the studios. But it's beautiful to now meet you, interact with you, through StreamYard, through virtually, because we still have that connection and that common denominator, and that is, the humanity part of life.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Yeah. It's been nice. We've known each other for a few years now, and I just love it. This is how to bring good information to people. So may it continue, and may we help all those podcasters, go to check out voiceamerica.com, everyone in the audience, or go to TonyDurso.com, reach out to me as well. And I do help podcasters, and I can show you how to make a difference if you're serious about it. And no dabblers, but if you're serious about it, I'm serious about helping.
Fabulous. Fabulous. So, Ryan, we're going to just wrap it up here. I know that you're going to say some things as well, but I want to thank Summer and yourself, Tony, for being our guest on Behind the Mic. We love interviewing our host to get to know you a little bit more, and to have you, I don't know about that audience sound, that soundtrack, Brian. It sounds something different. Than is it supposed to be clapping or roaring or something like that?
It's both.
It's a combo clap roar thing. Okay. Yeah, the crowd goes.
It's like a Tony Durso rally.
Yeah.
Yay! More fans.
The crowd goes wild. But thank you so much, Tony, for being with us behind the mic.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You guys all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in.
We'll see you next Friday.
Thank you.